Hey, welcome to Behind the Mic podcast. I'm Mike Stone, and today we have something extraordinarily special. So on Tuesday, December 9th, ABC will premiere Kevin Costner Presents, The First Christmas. It's a beautifully crafted, historically grounded retelling of the birth of Jesus. I had the privilege of getting an early look at this project, and let me tell you, it is unlike any Christmas film most people have ever seen. There's no westernized stable, no sentimental gloss. This film leans into the grit, the culture, the danger, the historical accuracy of what Mary and Joseph truly walked through. And the result is both powerful and deeply moving. And today, joining us for a very limited time, just 10 minutes, is the director behind this incredible project, David L. Cunningham. David has spent careers bringing meaningful stories to life, and this one, it hits at the very heart of why Christmas matters. So let's dive in because every minute counts. Well, David, welcome to the podcast. I am thrilled to have you. I was able to screen this project, and we're talking about Kevin Costner Presents, The First Christmas. You did a fantastic job on this. I want to jump right in because I know our time is limited, but thank you for being here.
My joy. Thank you for engaging with us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, what made this the right cultural moment to retell the Christmas story? Not, you didn't do it as a fairy tale, but as a historical human event, which I greatly appreciate.
Well, I think this story is appropriate for any time. And it just feels like I think in this dark and divisive days, it's magnified even more the importance of this. And the original vision was not to do some kind of spin or anything, but it's like let's revisit the original text. What's the Christ in Christmas? What's this all about? What were these characters like? What's a glimpse into their world? What kind of faith it took? What kind of courage it took for this young couple to bring into this brutal world the Son of God? I mean, it's just mind blowing to think about. So that's what we wanted. And then from a format standpoint, we wanted to kind of go back to old school, like Walt Disney Presents, and when have Kevin be our presenter and our guide. And, he, the words that he spoke, as he intros this a story and how it relates to him personally, those are his words. And so try to bring people in from a very authentic and respectful place and respect for the story and respect for our audience.
Yeah, one of the first things I noticed was the historical accuracy. Having been a Bible college student, I was surprised back then to learn that Western Christianity has kind of twisted some things a bit and taken some liberties. But what do you think is the biggest misconception that modern audiences have about the birth of Jesus? And how did this film correct that?
I think there's a general emotion of a kind of a cozy moment, this cozy environment in which Jesus came in to with the cute little sheep and the angels watching and all of that. And I think the sacrifice and the courage and the faith that it took for Mary and Joseph to see this baby, this most special of all babies to come into the world, and infant mortality was through the roof and women died in labor, brutal times of Rome and a demonic king named Herod who was out to kill this child. Like, let's just go back there for a minute together and let's try to have a glimpse into that world using the original text as much as we possibly can to guide us. And hopefully, there is, from that perspective, more insight into the character of God that we serve and the character of God that these scriptures are about and the upside down kingdom that he is bringing to this world. And so when you just take a second to really kind of think about it, whoa, this is heavy. This is beautiful. This is crazy. All of the above. And ultimately it's for each one of us. So yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, we have sanitized the real Christmas, first Christmas over the years. But was there any specific detail that you were determined to depict accurately?
There's a lot in there that we were attempting to, by the way, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Um, and little nuggets here and there that in some ways feel quite small, but are important. Um, the wise men showing up 2 years later, actually, not at the time of birth. And why
yeah,
is that important? And
yeah.
and I think there's nothing in the scriptures that is just randomly dropped in there. And so I think we need to really appreciate that and not try to make it convenient. But it speaks to, for me, the character of God saying, all are welcome. And it
Mm,
may take you a long time to get here, but I am waiting. And whatever you believe, I am here. And the 2 years it took for them to come and their persistence and then their humility to kneel before this baby and who they recognize as the Messiah. So I think just unpacking that little bit alone goes, oh, that's another aspect of God that I didn't really think about. And maybe just that little nudge will get people to think even further.
yeah. I think as I was watching it, and I was so happy to see those actual accurate depictings of the first Christmas. It made me wonder how many people are going to crack open their Bible, maybe for the first time in a long time, to see, does this guy have it right? And so I was very encouraged by that. I want to step a little bit off track here. I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan. Back from Field of Dreams days and all of that. I've really enjoyed watching his stuff. I probably would not have picked him as my first choice for this project, but he did an incredible job, and he was perfect for it. Why did Kevin make the first cut for you for this role?
Oh, well, I'm a huge fan of his too, and for all the reasons that you shared. And when we started talking to him initially, he actually had said he'd been thinking about wanting to do something about Christmas, and that the connection to his childhood, being raised in the church, was a real personal place. And I can't speak for him, of course, but he speaks for himself in the show and telling his story, and that those are his words. Um, and I think what he brings across as an actor, he's got such gravitas, where he's Kevin Costner, but at
Yeah,
the same time, he's works very he's got a relatability, to him. And we didn't want we wanted that to be the key to the story, is inviting people into the story, not a theological sermon with a know-it-all, not a cynical perspective with somebody that's like, maybe this didn't happen, but to go, hey, friend, let's go learn together. Come on, let's watch this movie together. So the whole concept of watching a movie with Kevin Costner, I thought, wow, that could be pretty compelling.
and it was great. It was just that kind of the cherry on top moment to have him walk out and express his honest, true feelings about Christmas. We don't always see that coming from Kevin Costner, but it was great to hear that from him. There were so many moments that I was just like, wow, great. Was there a moment during the filming when you thought, wow, this is why we're telling this story? Did you have any of those?
So many. We filmed, most of this in Morocco with an amazing cast and locations and in actual caves. And
Mhm.
you know, in the desert and all of that. But I think one of the things that struck me was when we did the scene with the shepherds and the concept that God would give the light show, the ultimate fireworks to these
Mhm.
shepherds. They were the ones that got the host of angels. These guys in the middle of nowhere, the lowest
Yeah.
on the totem pole, so to speak, and God went all out for them.
Yeah.
And and then that kind of grabbed me in a new way of going, wow, that's the God we serve. That he's turning this kingdom upside down and going, your priorities are not about might and power and wealth. It's the exact opposite. And we've just seen it a million times, right? The little
Yeah.
carved shepherds and the fuzzy sheep and all that cozy vibe. And you're like, wait, guys, wait, let's back up and let's
Yeah.
really think about this. And who he wasn't showing up to the kings and the queens and all of that. He went to the little guy in
Yeah.
the dark, in the rain, on a mountaintop and said, guess what? Check this news out, you know? I think that's pretty amazing.
It really is. And like you said a couple times now, upside down kingdom. And we're reminded of that all through this. And you mentioned the rain. I've never seen the Nativity with rain. And why wouldn't there be? I think that was a great moment. I know we're getting short on time. I want to ask you when families sit down, this does air on ABC at 8 o'clock Eastern on December 9th, Tuesday, December 9th. When families sit down to watch this, David, what do you hope happens in their living rooms?
I hope there is a light bulb that goes on and goes, this is what this is all about. You know, you hear it all the time. The reason for this season, you hear Christ in Christmas, but that's legit. That's
Yeah.
that's what this is all about. And this is like the biggest thing to happen in humanity.
Yeah.
And let's not let a modernity, cozy wrapping, which isn't a bad thing, but let's appreciate why we do this and have respect for that. When we celebrate a birthday in our family, of a loved one, you honor that person, you recognize it. But what if suddenly you just would have a generic birthday without a person name or face in that, you know? And that's a just one random example of what we need to do, especially the most important person. So I really hope at the end of the day, we will point people to the person of Jesus and the character of his Father God and an appreciation for all of those people that were a part of the story, that said yes, that had the courage, that had the faith, that had the hope, that had the joy to see it through. And it's a heartbreaking story, but we know
Yeah.
the ending, and
Amen.
the ending is pretty awesome.
It is. Tuesday, December 9th, 8 o'clock on ABC Eastern Time. Guys, check it out. David, thank you so much for you and your team just allowing Behind the Mic podcast to help distribute this a little bit and get the word out. I appreciate so much the project that you did. I pray that you keep on doing it. Thank you for being here today with us.
Thanks, Mike. Grateful.
Well, David, thank you truly for taking the time today and for the care that you poured into this project. What you and the team created isn't just another Christmas movie, it's a gift to families, churches, and anyone hungry to understand the real story of Jesus' birth with fresh eyes. Friends, mark your calendars. Kevin Costner Presents The First Christmas airs Tuesday, December 9th on ABC, and I would encourage you, watch it as a family. Let this be the year you see the Nativity with the depth, humanity, and wonder that it deserves. David, thank you again for joining us. And to everyone watching, stay tuned for a new Christmas episode coming soon. But for now, enjoy this Christmas season. Make it a blessed time with your family. I'm Mike Stone. We'll see you next time on Behind the Mic podcast.